Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Travis, back with another episode of the Rep by Rep Strength Podcast. So, first and foremost, if you have not yet, make sure you get signed up for my email newsletter. It comes out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do that at travisbarrett.com/email. And while you're at travisbarrett.com, there's a button on there that says join the community. And that's a free community I have for training purposes to help people get started. And it's free. There's no catch, nothing special there. I'll just answer questions and provide up-to-date information about training and answer questions as they come in. It's also a great place to meet other people who are pursuing the same goals. So anyway, now that that's out of the way, obviously, as you can tell, I'm out for a walk with my dog as usual and a little out of breath for two reasons. Number one, I've got a weighted vest on, so that changes, the difficulty of the walk a little bit. Secondly, I just got done climbing a hill and just had kind of a light bulb moment while I was walking Emmy. And had to hit record right away before I forgot what it is I wanted to talk about. So, if there's a little background noise, hopefully that'll go away once I get this edited here. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was kind of what my role specifically as a coach looks like and, what I do. So, years ago, there's a guy who a friend of mine trained. I'm sure he's still training him, but he's a former librarian and very, very intelligent guy, and just a great guy to talk to. And I remember he said several times during our talks that his role as a librarian was to connect people with information at the appropriate times. And I believe that's my role as a coach as well, is the majority of my day is comprised of the following. I'm either working with large groups of trainees that are coming through the military and, large groups anywhere from 30 to 60, or if I'm not doing that, I'm busy doing some consulting with folks one-on-one. Some of them are in special operations, some of them are my personal coaching clients. And then if I'm not doing that and I'm not actively engaged, then what I'm doing is I'm sitting down and reading a lot on training. And I'm also reading a lot on the psychology of what motivates people, how to get them to bust through a plateau, things along those lines. So anyway, I see my role there as it's up to me to continue to learn, continue to read, attend conferences, talk with other coaches, so that I can learn more, but also so I can get better at my craft, and also help save the end user time when it comes to reaching their goals. Because there is a ton in all those books that is not necessarily appropriate, nor do people have the time to digest and figure out how this applies to them. And finally, in what situation does it apply to them? So my role is to take notes, review it, and then put it in my notes section for later. And then at an appropriate time when I'm talking to somebody, somehow I'll remember, oh yeah, here's a piece of information that I think is critical for this specific phase, and pull that little note out and talk about what it is simply, and then how it applies and why it's important. So that's the first part I wanted to talk about. But as I'm walking my dog, what really made this kind of fit together in my head is that I've got this leash with my dog, and there were 3 dogs over to the right, about 50 yards out, and they're fenced in, but they're running up and down and barking, and my dog initially starts to pull because she wants to go see what the other dogs are doing. But my job is to stay the course and to not deviate because we've got to be home by sundown. So I'm staying the course. Now, she can't see what I can see, and it's important that I stay on this path so that we don't fall off our timeline here. Secondly, I've got a certain amount of leash I can give her. So sometimes I'll let her go a little bit and she can kind of lead the way. Other times I've got to kind of pull her back to stay on the path. And other times when she sees another dog, I've got to tighten the leash down a little bit so that she doesn't get too close to it, so she doesn't nip at it, or the dog doesn't nip at her, or whatever. The whole point here that I'm trying to get at is when it comes to hiring a professional to specifically for training, we've got to get crystal clear on what path we want to take. And then we've got to have somebody who pulls us in and keeps us focused on the task at hand when appropriate. And that's what I see my primary job is when I work with people, is to keep them focused, because there are tons of distractions out there and tons of stuff comes along and is absolutely unnecessary and irrelevant to what it is people want to work on. The other thing is people will, I'll ask them what their goal is, and they'll give a canned answer that they've heard from someone else somewhere along the way, or they've heard it on social media, or they'll say something they think they're supposed to say, as opposed to getting very, very clear and asking, okay, what is it I really, really, really want to accomplish? What is it I specifically want to accomplish over the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever? So knowing exactly what it is you want to get accomplished, but also why is that important to you, is also going to help drive you on the days where you don't want to show up. And it's going to drive you on the days where you think, oh my God, what's the point behind doing any of this? So it's cliche, but what is your why is going to be the driver behind all of your goals that you're going to work towards. So anyway, I hope those couple things are helpful to you. And if you need some help getting some direction there, and you're not sure where to begin because of the information overload that some people will put out there, just reach out to me, and I'm happy to do a call with you to help you get started and figure out, okay, here's what I want to get done. How do I go about getting started? So you can do that at travisbarrett.com, and there's a button on there where you can click contact, or even easier would be on the Discord channel. And that's just at travisbarrett.com. Click join the online community and ask questions in there, introduce yourself to others, and you can private message me in there, and then we can set something up. All right, have a good rest of your night.